Now I prefer to do some refactoring related to nowItem components, because right now, as you can see, some nowItems are shown as normal list elements and one item is shown as a button. So let's open up appHeaderNow component and see how it all is implemented in there. So we're using appHeaderNowItem components for every nowItem, including last nowItem that has to be shown as a button, and to make it look as a button, we're passing this list of classes to override styles of this component. So what I prefer to do instead is to actually reuse our newly created appButton component for this element. And for all other now links, I'm going to use new component that we will create right now with the name of appHeaderNowLink component. This will be a pretty simple presentational component that will contain only Nuxt link with a set of classes that we can take from here, and the content for those links we're going to pass from outside inside of a default slot. So now, instead of using appHeaderNowItem component, I'm basically going to use simple li tag, and within this element, let's use our new component, which represents nowItem link called appHeaderNowLink. For this li element, we also have to assign class called AmorAuto that is going to shift all the content that follows this nowItem to the right. And then let's keep using this new markup for rest of nowItems. In the second case, I'm going to change text on login as well as value for to attribute. And instead of passing additional classes to override styles for the third nowItem, I'm gonna use also li element, but in this case, we can basically reuse appButton component instead of overriding styles. The text should say sign up, and the to attribute should have register pass. Alright, cool. Now that we are no longer using appHeaderNowItem component, it's time to remove it. And great, in the browser we're still seeing the same result as before, but now if we'll inspect those components, we're seeing that the first two nowItems are represented by the appHeaderNowLink component, and the third nowItem is represented by the appButton component. But this is not it yet, because we also have mobile navigation. So for this navigation, we're also going to do the same refactoring. Let's open up appHeaderMobileNav component. And in here, instead of using appHeaderMobileNav item for each nowItem, I'm going to use new component that we're going to create called appHeaderMobileNavLink, just like we have done to nowItems inside of appHeaderNav component. Here we don't have to use this AmorAuto class. Let's remove it and rename component on appHeaderMobileNavLink. So firstly, we have to create this component. Let's add new file with the name appHeaderMobileNavLink and copy markup for this component from another similar component called appHeaderNavLink. But styles of the links within mobile navigation will be different from those that are used inside of the main navigation. So I'm going to take this list of classes of mobile nowItems and use them right here inside of appHeaderMobileNavLink component. So all we have to do now is to use appHeaderMobileNavLink component for each mobile nowItem right here. Second link should be for login page, and the third link will be for registration page. But just like we have reused appButton component for this link inside the appHeaderNow component, we're gonna do the same in MobileNow component. So right here I'm going to use appButton component for the third MobileNow link. Alright, so let's see what the results look like in the browser. We're almost there. There is just some styles that we have to fix. So let's go back to appHeaderMobileNow component and assign the following set of classes to this appButton component. I'm gonna use inline block to make this link to use CSS property display with a value of inline block, and then let's expand this button to cover all available widths by using W full class, and let's align all the content within this tag in a center by using text center class. And by the way, we can remove this items center class from here. It is not going to make any difference anyway. So let's jump back to the browser, open up mobile navigation, and this time we're seeing that this button takes up all available widths, but I still prefer to increase the size of this button, which is luckily very easy to do because we have the prop which controls the size of a button called LG, and if we'll specify this prop on this component and check it in a browser, sure enough we're going to see how this button has been increased in size. Let's also check out how these buttons look like on register and login pages. I prefer to increase the space in between input field and the button here, so let's jump back into registration form component, and I'm going to add a couple more classes on top of this up button component, such as empty2 class, which is going to assign top margin. In this case, I want this margin to be applied only on mobile devices, and on all other screens, I'm going to use empty1 class. And I think at this point everything is looking great. We can proceed. But at the end, let's not forget and remove unused component up header mobile nav item. Link to the source code of this project will be in the video description.